Hello and welcome. In this video, we will talk about what's happening in Florida, why Biden is spending in a state that he doesn't have to, some insane theories spouted by Trump supporters, the impact of Bloomberg, and how Florida is killing Trump campaign dollar by dollar. Let's get started. This will be the third time this week I'm talking about Florida. I really don't want to be discussing this state, but I just cannot stop. It is the one state that keeps me up in the night. In a way, that's exactly the feeling within Biden's campaign. We really don't want to be spending so much money, so many resources, schedule so much of Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's time in the state, but we just cannot stop. We just can't. And there is a reason for that helpless feeling. Florida is like an addiction. No matter how much you try, you just cannot get over it. There is no other swing state that has more electoral votes than Florida. And if you want to keep a Republican from the White House, you have to win Florida. Since Calvin Coolidge in 1924, no Republican has won the White House without Florida. Florida is not a must-win state for Biden, but if he wants to keep Trump away from doing whatever he and his cronies are planning to do after November 3rd, he has to win Florida and win big. It will put an end to all this insurrection, armed resistance, and all the talk that has been going on. Just in case you're not aware of it, Michael Caputo, Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, which is overseeing the coronavirus response, made a series of allegations this Sunday. It's borderline crazy, so instead of walking you through my opinion on it, I'm just going to read what Politico reported. On Sunday, Caputo took to Facebook Live to level a series of wild and false accusations that warned of an armed insurrection after the election and asserted without evidence that public health officials were trying to undermine Trump's re-election bid. The NY Times quoted him as saying, "If you carry guns, buy ammunition, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be hard to get." On the same note, Mr. Roger Stone, who was sentenced 40 months in prison for lying to Congress and witness tampering, but was pardoned by Donald Trump, asked Trump to seize total power and jail Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Mark Zuckerberg if he loses the election. A lot of things that Mr. Stone has said is worth not repeating as they are wild conspiracy theories. But the real point is when you look at what Caputo, Stone, and other Trump fans have said about this election, and just the fact that a recorded fact in so many videos, Mr. Trump repeatedly saying that he will lose only if the election is rigged long before the first vote was made, makes it clear that something is afoot. We don't know what it is, and there is only one state that can put a big end to all of that, and that's Florida. Unlike other states, we will know which way Florida has voted on November 4th. They start counting mail-in ballots 22 days before the election day, so we will have the results very quickly. If Biden wins Florida by a sizable margin, there is nothing that Trump and his supporters will be able to do, and that's exactly why I am so focused on Florida this election cycle, and the reason Monmouth poll brought me some happiness. Not all polls are created equal, and Monmouth is up there at the top. So this recent poll conducted by them between September 10th and September 13th had Biden ahead of Trump by 3 to 5 percentage points in Florida. Couple of points is always huge in Florida. Some of you may have noticed a trend in the state. Biden pulls ahead of Trump by 4 to 5 percentage points, and then the race tightens, and then Biden pulls ahead again. And I took the aggregate of these polls, and when I looked at it, there hasn't been a single day in which Trump pushed ahead of Biden since April. He came close and even tied with Biden, but he never went ahead of Biden. Sometimes pollsters underestimate Trump's support, and sometimes they underestimate Biden's support. That error will always be there, and that's why we need to look at multiple pollsters and spread them over a long period of time and wait for a consistent trend to emerge before calling it in favor of one side. What this means is this: there is a hard ceiling for Trump in the state. In 2016, turnout increased by more than 1 million compared to 2012, but despite the increase in turnout, Trump won the state by 112,000 votes. Democrats win Florida by running up their margins in a handful of counties, while Republicans win by doing the same across counties spread all over the state. Just 6 counties accounted for nearly half of all Democratic votes in Florida. In 2016, Hillary actually did better than Obama in these 6 counties, but she fared poorly in the rest of the state. If Biden has to win, he has to reduce Trump's margin in these Republican counties that spread all over the state because there is not a lot of room left for him to improve his performance in these 6 Democratic counties. Increasing vote share in Republican counties in Florida is not going to be an easy task. It will be a county by county fight, draining a massive amount of resources. Thanks to his consistent polling lead, Biden has a chance to do it, but only if his campaign is ready to spend, and preferably match Trump's spending in the state or even go over it if it's possible. And that's where the problem comes in. Is Florida's 29 electoral votes worth the effort? Biden can spend half of that amount that he is being forced to spend in Florida, or even less than that, and win Arizona and North Carolina, get 26 votes instead of 29 for half the cost. Trump is the one who needs Florida at all cost, not Biden, so he can afford to take his focus elsewhere. Florida is where Trump spends most of his money, and if Biden starts matching that, it will be a till someone folds kind of a fight in Florida. Once again, it's tempting to stay in Florida, but is it worth it when you have so many different paths to get to 270? I believe there is, and I believe that Biden campaign wanted to keep Trump team occupied in Florida by spending there, but I wasn't sure of their commitment to stay put until the last day because there was hardly any movement from their candidates to the state. So I thought it was just a play around the edges game, not a full-time commitment on Florida from Biden's team. But the entire equation changed after Bloomberg announced that he will wade into Florida to support Biden. And it's a huge decision with ramifications not just for Florida but the entire country and the election. As Bloomberg's announcement came in, bam, Kamala Harris was on the ground in Florida this week, and Biden traveled to the state yesterday, his first visit since becoming the Democratic nominee. So it's official, folks. Biden and Trump are now locked in a till someone folds race in Florida. Let me explain this further. Trump campaign has spent nearly 25% of its campaign advertising spend in Florida. That's 1 out of every 4 ad dollars in just a single state. As much as I wanted Biden team to pull out of Florida and concentrate on other states, the moment Biden slows down on Florida, Trump team will start diverting their resources to other areas. If Biden keeps them occupied in Florida, which is a 100% guarantee now, Trump campaign has no choice but to keep spending there. And if Florida eats up a quarter of their spending, as it has done so far in this race, it leaves them vulnerable in the other states. By fighting for Florida, Biden can sneak up on Trump in smaller states such as Arizona, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Michigan. This will allow Biden to still win even without Florida. The funniest part is Trump campaign is fully aware of the side effects of this over-the-top spending in Florida and what Biden campaign is up to. But they can do nothing about it because Florida is a must-win for them. Florida is the hydroxychloroquine for Trump campaign. Thanks for watching.